Hi, everybody. This is Lindy. Um, I'm going to talk about a difficult subject because we all kind of ignore it. Well, I think we do. I'm going to say people around me kind of do, except that I'm very upfront about aging and all of this. But I said in my other video I really don't want to go to senior housing because I'm with old people and I'm old. I think there are good reasons for senior housing. However, I feel like put them away and forget about them. And we are still learning. We have not only are we learning, but we have the knowledge of the past of how to do things. I mean, I loved older people. I've discussed this before. I had a neighbor who was in her 80s. Her husband was a silver miner, a miner in the silver mines in Nevada. She lived in a tent for years, most of her life. And they never had children. And when she moved next door to me, I just loved her to death. She taught me how to can. She taught me how to crochet. She taught me how to do a little weaving. I mean, how to cook, how to can, how to freeze things properly. She was so full of knowledge. And I think our elderly have so much to offer every generation and pass it down. Um, I'm continually learning, and I want to continue to learn. But I also think we need to talk about, how to do things to our children or our grandchildren or just the younger generation. As I as I discussed, I got a 17-year-old. I just adore her, and we're just great friends, and she's just wonderful. And she and I talk about everything, and she talks about her problems. But I also impart knowledge, and oh, that's not a big deal, and because everything when we're young is a big deal, and we have to learn with maturity how to mellow out and say, nah, it's not a big deal anymore. It wasn't a big deal then. They also need to know and see the aging process because that's their future eventually down the road, and it's not so scary when you see it. Now, you may not like it. I don't like it. I don't dislike being older. I don't, I think about it because I'm doing videos on YouTube. But the reality is that it's just part of life. And I think if they see the aging process, they will do more with their lives during their, what do you want to say, productive years, really productive years. They will do more. They will be more conscious of saving money or um, of doing things with their health. Uh, just so many things. I used to sew my own clothes. I'm quite a seamstress. None of my grandchildren can sew anything. They want to give me their sewing machine. I'm like, no, you need to learn how to sew. There may be a time when you can't buy any clothes, so you need to know how to do it. It's just knowledge that generations have passed on to us and that we need to pass on to the next generation. If we're put in nursing homes, we can't pass that on because how many times do the grandkids and the kids visit? I mean, my grandkids don't call. You know, they text me with, "Oh, thanks, Grandma," when I give them a card or say congratulations or give them money, whatever. But unless I see them on holidays, I rarely ever see them. So I think, now this is me, okay, guys, this is just me. I think that families should prepare for their elderly. If you have a good relationship, okay, with your family, your children, that one of those children build an apartment or put a trailer or something in their backyard or add a tiny apartment, just mini studio apartment for their elderly. And if the elderly forget to shut off the stove, then you deliver food. You have food delivered to them, or you cook and you bring it to them, and you enjoy them. Are we all great? No. We're kind of crotchety and blah blah blah. But it's just part of life, and I really think we need to, as Americans, not be so independent and have more family values and knowledge from our elderly. And my son knows how I feel. I'm in a van. I'm not about to move in with him. Uh, I just think it would destroy our relationship. Now, if he had a house with a backyard where I could park a small trailer, that'd be we could get along perfectly because I like solitude. So I'm a very private. You would think. I thought it was private till I got a YouTube. Um, I like to keep to myself. I do enjoy people, but they wear me out. I had one lady, she quit coming. I guess I offended her. Well, that's okay. Who would just show up at my van, and she'd spend hours, and she'd talk about her problems at her house, this and that and this and that, and I'd go, then you need to resolve it. I mean, it was a constant discussion about her problems, and she would do this like once a month. I thought she was doing it to learn how to be a van dweller. And I'd say, well, so what did you do for your van? Well, nothing, because, and 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 finally one day she showed up. She was here like 4 hours, and finally I looked at her. I said, you realize that this whole time you've been talking about this neighbor of yours that you have a problem with, and you've been talking about it for months, and you haven't dealt with it. So why not? And I said, no, no, no. You see, you're talking about it again. Don't talk about it. There are other subjects we need to share. If you're not going to do your van, why are you visiting me? I don't know you. You just want to stand here and tell me about your problems? No, no. Relationships are about sharing, you know, and something in common. I thought you were interested in building a van. You've done nothing with your van, you know. What, almost 6 months you've done nothing with your van? You just talk about your neighbor? No. So I said, you need to deal with your life. Get it straightened out. Either sell that house, get out of there, whatever. I could go on. I don't even want to waste part of this video on this because it's such a mess. And she will not deal with her life. She just she's a total victim. I don't want to be a victim, you know. Because that's all you do. You don't have a life. If you're a victim, 24 hours a day, you don't have time to live. And I want to live. So, I mean, she's mainly the main one. I've had people come up to this van and they go, oh, you're building out a van. I had one man and he's like, oh, yeah, well, my son's a professional rock climber and I just bought him a Sprinter van and it was 100 and some odd $1,000, and his sponsor is paying $80,000 to fix it up. And he said, but you've done okay. And I'm like, really? Really? Oh, see, I got sidetracked. We're supposed to talk about older people. Anyway, that's part of being older, you know. People assume old and stupid go together, and they don't. So, um, that's the end of that conversation about elderly. I think I needed to explain more about how I feel because if you're just sitting and waiting to die. That's the way I feel. If you put me in a nursing home or you put me in an apartment, here, I'm just watching TV, waiting to die. I mean, what is there to do? Um, so I work, I drive a van, I have to get in and out of this van. Now, yeah, I got a step, I never put it out. This is very physical, very physical. Um, I have to lift things, I have to pull myself in and out. I use my arms, I use my legs. I have to think. YouTube is about thinking. I have to keep mentally alert as long as my memory allows me. Let's face it, I got a lousy memory right now. Used to never forget nothing. Now I can't. It's lousy. But that's all I'm going to talk about. I'm going to end this. I hope you have a good day. It wasn't a rant, I don't think. I hope not. I just wanted to have real conversations about real life, not just in a van. The van is my escape, my adventure, my way of not just sitting there waiting. No, 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 no. There's so much to do. So I will talk to you later, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Camo.